Good morning, soul family. My name is Crystal, for those of you that don't know me. What are you guys doing this morning? I'm sitting here and I'm listening to the birds. No TV is on, nothing is on. I just have the window open and I hear the birds, and it is so peaceful. That or I'm just getting old. I don't know. All right, so it's kind of been rattling around in my brain for a little bit to make a video about sensitive kids. I'm talking about your empaths. How many of you have sensitive kids or have nieces or nephews or friends that have sensitive kids? And maybe you don't really realize it at first. You'll notice maybe your kids... I'm sorry, my words just sound like that. It was so weird. Maybe you'll notice that your kids are acting different than they normally do. Usually they're happy, and then suddenly they're out in an environment and you notice that their behavior changes. Suddenly they'll become sad or angry or just not really acting like themselves. Or they'll say things to you like, "Mom" or "Dad, I feel like I'm doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I don't feel like myself." Things like that. And I'm giving you these specific examples because I've noticed it in my daughter, who's 9 years old. Her name is Aerith, and she's just this beautiful, wonderful, amazing girl. I swear she's an earth angel. I swear she is. I know every parent, feels very strongly towards their child, but I don't know, everything was always different with her. Even in her ultrasound, I have her throwing the peace sign. If you want proof of that, I'll pull that picture out and I'll show you. It was amazing. So she has come to me recently and, kind of expressed that same thing that I said to you. I'm not really feeling like myself. And I was like, well, do you feel like maybe you're experiencing other people's emotions? And she wasn't really sure what I meant by that, so I had to explain it to her, and maybe you have to do the same thing with your kids. Help your kids figure out what it is that their base emotions are. If they're going into, say, school or a store or going to a park or something and they're happy and they're fine, or maybe they just don't really have any emotions one way or another. And then suddenly that emotion changes because they're picking up on the emotions of others around them. That's how they can decipher for themselves that they're an empath, or you can help them decipher. And my daughter, she was crying a lot. Like, she was really happy before, and then she would come home and she would be weepy constantly. And that was really out of the ordinary for her. And I think it was really her coming into and starting to recognize that she is sensitive. And as a parent for that, I have to help her really navigate that. So I wanted to kind of give you some of the tips and tricks that I gave to her. I wrote things down, so if you see me looking to the side, I'm just kind of looking to the side to make sure I cover all of my points. Now, if you think about really the world that we live in now, it is very disconnected from nature. We as children, I'm 35 years old. A lot of us, we went outside, we ran outside, we were barefoot. It isn't just some meme. We truly were those kids that did those things. And ultimately, we were more grounded without even realizing that we were grounded. Today, kids have their phones at such a young age. They have tablets. They have all the gaming systems. They have, constant TV from the moment that they get out of school. They aren't going outside and taking their shoes off and running around barefoot and being grounded. So that is one suggestion that I give for you parents or aunts or uncles or friends to go ahead and, spread this information out. Take your kids out and allow them to be barefoot and run around and get grounded. They're going to love it, especially if, they go outside to play all the time and it's always in shoes. Sure, their feet might get dirty, but wash it off. Getting grounded is highly important, especially for an empath. And it would be a really good chance for you to do it with them too. So that is one of the tips. Get them grounded. Teach them how to connect with the earth. Make it fun for them. Get creative. Kids love creative stuff. And it's really good for you. It's great sacral chakra exercises for you as well. Another thing when it comes to the world that we're living now in and all the distractions we have, a lot of people, they try to take screen time away, but sometimes it's easier not to. And when kids are constantly distracted, they aren't processing their emotions. They aren't processing what happened in their day, how they're feeling, what happened around them. So another thing I did with my daughter to try to help get her out of this energy was, you know what? You need to sit down in your room quietly, and you need to process everything that has happened. Process what it is that you are feeling. Allow, without, directing your thoughts, allow your thoughts to just go. Really see what it is that comes into mind, and maybe you're going to figure out why it is that you're so sad, or the things that you have picked up, or actions that it is that you need to take to help you move forward properly and healthily. So that's another thing. Encourage your children, your nieces, your nephews, your friends' children to just go ahead and sit there without the devices, even for, 20 to 30 minutes quietly, and just process what it is. Maybe they've had these pent-up emotions and they haven't allowed themselves to deal with it. This goes for you guys too. You're so busy with work and helping your kids and errands and just the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and maybe helping other people, and you aren't allowing yourself even the chance to sit down quietly and process what is going on in your life. It is so very important. And if they see you doing that, maybe they'll be more likely to do it as well. And it's not always going to be pleasant. It's going to be ugly and messy sometimes, but that is what it is called for. And you're going to be teaching them how to cope with life as they get older, and how to cope with being an empath as they get older as well. Just crossing these off as I go through them. All right, another thing that I did with my daughter was I wanted her to see if it was hers, what she was feeling. So I asked her to quiet down and ask her body, where am I feeling the sadness from? Because like I said, she was always a very happy child, but suddenly she came home and she would always be crying, constantly crying, even on the weekends, which is very out of character. So, if you're seeing things like this with your kids or other people's kids, ask them to sit quietly and ask their body, where am I feeling the sadness? Or maybe they're angry. Where is the anger coming from? Or the hurt, or whatever it is. Luckily, she was able to identify it very quickly. She told me I could feel it in my upper stomach. Okay, that's your solar plexus right there. That's your self-esteem. That's your empowerment. That's your relationships with other people around you. You hold all of these interactions and all these emotions and everything right there in that solar plexus. And if you don't deal with it, it builds up. So having her sit there quietly and really kind of self-diagnose where it's coming from was helpful. And I said, okay, now that you have felt where it is that you're feeling the sadness from, allow yourself to feel the emotion fully. If you feel like you need to cry, go ahead and cry. Let it all out while you are focusing on that area of your body. And as I'm telling you what I told her, this is me giving you the advice as well for your kids and for yourself. have them really focus in on that body part where they're feeling that sadness, where they're feeling that anger. Feel those emotions 100%, so that way they don't get trapped in your body, they don't get trapped in your aura, and they don't turn into disease and illness, because eventually it will. They have these things, they need to be dealt with right away, fully. And that's also going to help with, say, shadow work on down the line. You don't want these things getting stuck in the solar plexus, and then they have all of this trauma and old pains and hurts that they have to do shadow work on later because they didn't deal with it in a timely manner when they were younger. You don't want your kids to have to deal with and heal all of this inner child type of work. I mean, we all have to do some inner child work, but you can really help cut that process down if you teach them how to do these things. So yeah, I told her to go ahead and, feel it, and then allow herself to express it. And then after she's done expressing it, to go ahead and put her hands onto her heart, and then just imagine something that makes her feel love. Like a bunch of puppies or kittens or babies, or just her friends, or things that just make her really feel joy and love and happiness. And as she has her hands on her heart, that really activates that heart chakra. And then when she feels her heart chakra, when your kids, or when you feel your heart chakra going, which is where you really feel your heartbeat going, send that energy down to the area where you felt that sadness or that anger or that pain to help heal it. So I've had her do all those things. And another thing, let's see, let me go over my notes here. Feeling the emotions of others. So of course, we kind of covered that a little bit already. Have your kids know their base feelings, like I said. Before they go in, are they already happy? Are they already sad? Are they already in a neutral mindset emotionally and mentally? And if they go in and they're feeling differently, then they know that it's coming from somebody else. Teach them to allow the emotions to pass through them. They do not belong to them. So they do not have to take it on as it is their own. So really allow them to just, if it comes into them, feel it and then release it. And then of course they can put their hands back on their heart chakra, imagine those things that make them feel that love, that happiness, that joy, and then send that feeling out into the environment for people to take that love, those higher vibrational, happy, loving feelings. And it will raise your child's vibration, help them learn how to deal with it, and it's going to be helping the people in the environment around them without other people even realizing what's happening. And you will see a difference in your child, in yourself, and in the people that are around you. And it will help teach them how to deal with that as they get older as well. Because as we know, your child being an empath, it's not going to stop. Once they grow up, it's going to continue. And they need these tools in their toolbox as early as possible. So please work with your children on these things. So here's a fun thing that I did with Aerith. Our last full moon that we had, I save bottles and I make moon water. I make 3 big things of moon water. And I asked her if she wanted one of them. Do you want me to make you some moon water? And she had said yes. So this was a good way to teach her how to set intentions and really put in the emotions that she's wanting to feel every day. So we made moon water together. We put in the intentions of joy and happiness and feeling whole and not feeling sad, just put in all of the good stuff into the moon water. Of course, let it go overnight, and then she takes a drink of it every single morning. And let me tell you, I have seen that transform her. She is not weepy anymore. I have given her the tools that she needs to be successful. And I said, you know what? You incarnated with the right mom here. I will work with you your whole life and teach you how to deal with these emotions from that belong to you and that belong to others, and what to do with them. And you can do the same thing for your kids and your family members and your friends and your friends' kids and everything. So hopefully you learned, maybe this is just a review for you, or maybe you learned some new tips or some new ways or things, to talk to your kids to help them through these emotions. And just know that, maybe your kid isn't just being an angry jerk all the time, or maybe your kid isn't, some bipolar depressed kid all the time. Maybe it really is them being an empath. Of course, go off of your own intuition, go to a doctor if that's what you want to do. My word is not law, it's not set in stone. These are merely suggestions and tools to help you and those that you love. Well, thank you so much for sitting and vibing with me. And remember, where there's love, there's lights. Where there's light, there's beauty. And where there's beauty, there's you. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Love you.